We have a person to present this who is Chief Executive Officer and President of the Lighthouse for the Blind of Fort Worth. Who administers a substantial program with 100 employees, about 80% of them blind or visually impaired people, with an extraordinary budget to manage. And who has not only worked in blindness programs, but also operated his own business and has been active in his community while he's done it. We have asked a number of people in our effort to get the idea across that a provision of law authorizing sub-minimum wage payments for disabled workers is a flawed piece of legislation, an error in the law, fundamentally unsound. We've asked a number of people to join with us in recognizing this, and we have found a number of organizations in the disability field that have been willing to say that they oppose such a policy, but very few who are employers. A number have said to us privately that they believe in what we're doing. Few have been willing to say so in a way in which they could be recognized and counted as joining with disabled Americans in a campaign to change this fundamental policy. But in this case, we have a person who believes in the capacity of the people he employs and those who are part of the group represented. And it's an honor to welcome to our platform the President of the Lighthouse for the Blind of Fort Worth. Here is Platt Allen.
Good afternoon. Thank you for the kind introduction. Well, good afternoon. You can reply back. Good afternoon. Thank you. I think it's only appropriate that this topic comes onto the agenda the day following our grand celebration of our wonderful country's independence. And I know that our forefathers struggled with perceptions that others had of their capabilities and their desires, much like my employees back in Fort Worth have suffered with others' perceptions of their abilities and their desires. And I'm sure many of you have also felt that struggle as you have pursued your dreams. So let me address a few things up front. At the Lighthouse for the Blind Fort Worth, fair wages are reserved by all individuals, and all my employees are compensated for their skills at or above minimum wage. In my business, the only people I'm going to take advantage of are my volunteer board of directors. I don't pay them, they choose to work for free, so I'm going to take advantage of every moment that they're going to give me. And if you're not doing that where you are, you should. It works out very well. But at the Lighthouse, fair wages are reserved by every person in our workforce, blind, sighted, tall, short, blonde, or brunette. It doesn't matter. you are. If you're working in my shop, you're going to be paid competitively. Now, before I go any further, let me first tell you a little bit about my lighthouse. And I call it my lighthouse because I have taken great ownership in what it is we're trying to accomplish in our community. I think this conversation will provide a good context about why we do the things we do. The mission of the Lighthouse is twofold. First, we provide opportunities for meaningful employment for folks who are blind. And second, we provide rehabilitation services to folks who are blind so that they may reach the level of independence that they desire. We were founded back in 1935, and for the beginning years we provided support for the military, winding bandages and cotton balls, and preparing for support of the military efforts. And yes, we made brooms and mops with 25 to 30 employees who were blind. In the early 70s, we began the expansion of our product line and the number of people we employ. Currently, we have about 300 products in our catalog, and as Dr. Maurer said, about 100 employees total, 80% of which are legally blind or worse. We recently purchased a machine shop and have converted 2 of the 14 machining positions over to operators who are blind. My plan is to have all 14 machining stations operated by folks who are blind, with support from 2 to 3 sighted setup folks and a couple of shop helpers. This is a non-traditional business for agencies like ours, but we're up to the challenge and excited about the opportunities that will bring us in commercial markets. We offer a full range of benefits, including health insurance, dental and vision insurance, life and ADD, a 403B plan where we contribute 3% of every employee's wages to their retirement fund. And we will match up to 3% of any contributions they would make. Our average wage is $9.75 an hour, and most of our production workers work a 38-hour work week. In addition to our industrial operations, we also provide rehabilitation services to the elderly, adults, youth, and children in North Texas. Some of these services include Braille instruction, O&M training, and independent living counseling and instruction. We provide assistive technology services, including technology needs assessments, technology demonstrations, keyboarding classes, and other technology-based education and training. We have a CCTV loaner program and currently have 90 CCTVs out in our community aiding folks with vision. We provide social activities for high school-age teens, including a Valentine's Day dinner and dance. We host a Christmas party for young people and those young at heart every winter. We provide tactile art classes, yoga classes, and general exercise classes. We have support groups for parents of children who are blind, children who are going through the process of losing their eyesight, adults who are blind or significantly visually impaired, and the elderly who are dealing with macular degeneration. All of our services and programs are provided free of charge to anyone who would desire to attend. And the intention of them is to encourage independent living and the continued pursuit of each individual's dreams. The Lighthouse is also a member of the National Industries for the Blind and TIVH, Texas Industries for the Blind and Handicapped, which is the equivalent organization for the state of Texas. Both organizations assist agencies like ours in providing employment opportunities through access to federal and state procurement systems. We also engage in commercial business, as you've heard about our machine shop, by providing manufacturing, warehousing, and distribution services to small and medium-sized businesses in our area. However, none of this would be possible if not for a dedicated, loyal, and enthusiastic workforce. Now, in my experience, the fastest way to demotivate a person is to waste their time or pay them less than a competitive wage. A decade or so ago, I have to admit that the Lighthouse decided to stop paying significant wages. So if you read into that sentence, A little more than a decade ago, we were still engaged in the activity of 14C certificates. About a decade ago, we decided to stop paying employees based on a percentage of work that they can complete compared to a fully sighted individual. You all know the 14C law, so I don't need to restate it here, but just recognize that just because you can pay on a certificate does not mean you should, and we have chosen not to. Story about a young man that works on our paper packaging line. His name is Kurt. Kurt is legally blind, resulting from a closed head injury. He spent his first 30 years in and out of underpaying jobs, living with his mom, and not really thinking much about his future. Through a work readiness program with the state of Texas, Kurt came to the Lighthouse for an evaluation. After about 6 weeks of working on various production lines within our operation, we provided our evaluation report and a job offer back to his counselor. Kurt now is a full-time employee with the Lighthouse. He has moved into his own house and has even gotten a dog. He travels independently to work, to the grocery store where he used to work as a sacker, and even over to his mom's house for an occasional meal. Kurt's proud of his contributions to our community, and his mother is proud of him. Providing these types of life-changing opportunities is at the heart of our mission. We're also motivated somewhat by NIB and their programs. Went even a little further and restricted their grant money for us to develop new products and services and programs within our agencies to only those agencies that are paying all of their employees at or above minimum wage. Currently, there are no employees working on Ability One products in any of the NIB affiliated agencies being paid below minimum wage. That's something NIB is proud of. So what do we do at the Lighthouse? We pay competitive wages based upon a range that is determined by a third-party human resource firm that evaluates wages paid for similar positions within our local area. Blindness, hair color, girth, or height does not factor into the determination of the range. Blindness is no more of a characteristic of these ranges. It certainly is not a definition for our employees. The job description defines the qualifications and duties of the job. The individual determines how they can best accomplish the objectives of that job and calls upon our rehabilitation team and their production supervisor to make the reasonable accommodations to achieve those objectives. We, as employers, compensate our employees for their efforts against those objectives. If an employee is exceeding expectations in the position, they might very well be paid at the top of that range. If the employee is failing to meet the expectations, then they might be at the bottom of the range with a corrective action plan. The level of compensation is set by the range and determined by the individual's performance. At the Lighthouse, we evaluate an employee's potential contribution. We identify a position that will allow that individual to reach that potential. We evaluate the progress towards that objective and competitively compensate the performance. Through this process, we create a stable, loyal, productive workforce. To me, that sounds a lot like what every other employer in America strives to do. Our employees work hard every day to make progress towards their individual goals. In return, the Lighthouse serves our customers in our community. I'll share with you one more story about our newest employee. It's an individual that I think some of you in the room know. B, short for Bettina, came to Fort Worth with her husband who was studying at the Southwest Baptist Seminary. Both B and her husband are blind. Before her arrival in Fort Worth, B did what any other good job-seeking individual would do. She prepared a resume. She sent it out to everybody she knows. She sent it out to everybody that those people knew. She contacted people through their church, through their friends, and their friends' friends. By the time B arrived in Fort Worth, Texas, I had 5 phone calls, 6 emails, and 2 personal visits from people that had gotten a word that B was coming to town and she was somebody I should talk to. B had done her homework well. What I love telling each one of these folks as they contacted me is, yes, I know B's coming to town. We can't wait for her to get here. They want to talk to her. So B had contacted us directly as well. And we were excited about talking with her and understanding what the Lighthouse could benefit, how the community we serve could benefit from having B on our team. Now, B did join our team just a little while ago, earlier this year, and she coordinates our fitness classes, our yoga classes, and is working on specifications for a rock climbing wall to be installed in our warehouse. She travels out into the community to work with individuals in retirement centers, community centers, and individuals in their homes to teach them skills to improve their health. She also visits local elementary, middle, and high schools to teach partnered running and walking. She's even learned to roller skate. If you go out on top, give us ourselves a shameless plug. If you go out on our Facebook page, Lighthouse Blind Fort Worth, you will find a video of B doing a slalom course on roller skates with her cane. It's one of the most amazing things you'll ever see. It's a fantastic demonstration.